Sunday's game against the Jets. Guys, Marcus, we were texting when Kittle got that knee injury last week, and you and I were like, oh, man, that didn't look very good. It kind of looked like he was going to try to tough through it. What's your reaction to seeing this and also taking into consideration that it is the Jets?
Well, thank goodness it's the New York Jets they playing against this weekend, and it's not a divisional game. But the bottom line is Kyle Shanahan, as good as he's been, he's going to have to continue to be a genius. Jimmy G is going to have to step his game up. Now, I'm sure they're going to try to rely on the run game, and Kittle is a big part of that as an inline blocking tight end. But you have to get creative. Or you say to yourself, okay, Jimmy G, I know we are down some wide receivers. I know Kittle is out. You have to now go earn this $100-some-odd million that's been paid to you and carry us for a week or however long it takes until we can get our horses back. So I'll be interested to see how this game is called by Shanahan, with in mind of Jimmy G trying to make plays without his binky, his security blanket, his way to look every time something's breaking down. They're going to run to do, but Jimmy G is going to have to make some individual plays as a high-level quarterback, and I expect to see it happen against the Jets, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this game, without having George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk goes down in training camp, your first-round pick. Debo Samuels obviously has an injury as well. And so it's been very tough for the San Francisco 49ers to find weapons outside. But there's the guy I want to mention named Jordan Reed. He's one of the more talented tight ends I've ever played with or ever been around. He was a guy, he kind of got his feet wet last week. I believe he needs to be used more in the passing game for the San Francisco 49ers. And obviously, everything will start with the backs and also using the backs out of the backfield. But this is going to be a defense where a game where you have to rely on your defense and hope that Adam Gase can't outcoach Kyle Shanahan. And I'm pretty sure if the GM, John Lynch, had a choice, he'd pick Kyle Shanahan, and this is going to be about Kyle Shanahan putting this offense in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, RC, considering the concussion
history. You damn right he would.
Yeah, exactly. Considering the concussion history for Jordan Reed, it would be good to see him shine on a big stage. And also, I'm going to start keeping track of how many weeks we say Jimmy G's got to put it on his shoulders and win the game. We're just getting rolling on NFL Live today. The Patriots will face their first big test of the Cam Newton era in Week 2 as they travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Find out why the player to watch in this one actually isn't a quarterback. And Carson Wentz is getting some weapons back for Week 2, but he's got to deal with Aaron Donald and the Rams defense. At least one person here is predicting an 0-2 start for Philly. We'll get into that next, and we'll find out who's doing that. Dan Orlovsky's not here today, so we can say whatever we want. Away from a loaded Sunday slate that features some highly anticipated matchups. You see them there, including Giants, Bears, Rams, Eagles, Ravens, Texans, and Seahawks, Patriots. So, Marcus, give me your bold prediction for the weekend.
Els, yeah, my bold prediction, Zeke Elliott, 150 rushing, 3 touchdowns. Look, Dallas is going to have to take the ball out of the hands of Matt Ryan and this high-powered offense. They can give you a lot of problems. You know how you do that? You feed Zeke.
Well, listen, for me, it's going to be the real running back or the top running back in NFC East, and that's Saquon Barkley. Last week, under a yard per rush. People are talking about it might be better to trade Saquon. He's going to go for over 200 yards total offense against the Bears and rush for over 125. Saquon strikes back.
Hey, Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow were great last night. Baker, especially a man on a mission. He started hot. He didn't slow down. Maybe most encouraging, you see it right there, thriving off of rollout opportunities out of Stefanski's play-action-heavy attack. Joe Burrow, good too. Baker and Burrow on winning and losing, respectively.
But I think that's going to build confidence for us and us playing complementary football with the defense. You know, that's the scary part is if we start clicking and keep getting better, it is going to be a fun ride.
Losing isn't very fun. You know, this might be the only time in my sporting career that I've lost 2 games in a row. Doesn't feel very good. I know the guys in there are hurting. We're going to come back to work tomorrow and try to get this thing right. You know, losing is unacceptable to me, to everybody in there, to Coach Taylor, to everybody in this organization. So we're just going to have to get it fixed.
Yeah, Burrow hasn't lost in a really long time. He did set the record for most completions by a rookie in a game in NFL history. I should say he hasn't lost before his pro career in a long time. He had 37 completions. On the other side, Mayfield posted the highest total QBR in a game of his NFL career. It was also the highest rating by a Browns quarterback since the metric was first tracked in 2006. So I don't know if Baker Mayfield heard Marcus Spears yesterday or something, but he challenged Baker, saying yesterday if he didn't outplay Burrow, that Cleveland might need to look for another quarterback. So, Marcus, what's your evaluation of what he did last night?
Els, you know I'm hard on Baker, but I got to give him credit. He did a tremendous job last night, and I thought Stefanski did a tremendous job getting Baker comfortable early, letting him know that we were going to give you your opportunities to take shots down the field. He operated outside of the pocket. My boy Dan Orlovsky has been telling me that that's what they need to do with him offensively. He looked comfortable. He connected with his #1 receiver in Odell Beckham Jr., but he spread the ball around, hit a lot of different targets. I thought he played a tremendous game. And now you ask yourself, can they build upon that? That'll be the question going forward.
This game, to me, wasn't about Baker Mayfield. This was about Kevin Stefanski. This was the reason that he was hired. He was hired to Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, to make sure that he could play within himself and they could find ways to win. You heard Marcus mention some of the boots, getting him outside of the pocket. And Marcus was a hooper, a very good hooper at that. And Marcus knows when you have people that shoot three-pointers or guys who you think are gunslingers in basketball, you want to get them to the free throw line. You want to let them see the ball go in. You want to let them shoot some layups. And now they can move it out and make the big shot. We saw Baker dink and dunk, get outside the pocket, and then you saw the big shot up top to Odell Beckham Jr. That's what Kevin Stefanski does. That's what he did with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. He brought that to Cleveland. What I liked the most about it was this, though. He didn't let Baker Mayfield start feeling dangerous and then become a danger to his team and then say we're just going to throw it all around the field. Once they got up, once they got a lead, he made sure Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb were the focal point of this offense. He never let it get outside of there. He controlled the flow of the game with his play calls. And that's what you have to do for Baker Mayfield. Get him easy throws where he can show his accuracy, show his anticipation, but not hurt the team. It was a masterful job of play calling, and I really love what I saw from the first-year head coach last night.
So obviously everybody here is very familiar with Joe Burrow, and I was following you guys last night on Twitter, and every single time he would get hit, both of you were tweeting, "Oh no, don't hit him anymore," and it was tough to watch at times. Burrow's performance, though, still excellent. But Marcus, it's interesting. He threw the ball 61 times. We're talking about Stefanski on the Browns side of things. Zach Taylor, the coach for the Bengals. Are we being easy on him with how he's dealing with Joe Burrow? What's your thought on Burrow's performance and Zach Taylor combined?
Hell yeah, we being easy on him. Look, Joe Burrow played a well of a game. He did a tremendous job, under poise. A lot of people had expectations for the first overall pick to come into Cincinnati and show life, show that he was the guy that could take this franchise in the right direction, and he absolutely did it. He even did it last week and didn't have the gaudy numbers. 61 passes is too much for any quarterback unless you're trying to run a race with Patrick Mahomes when they get going in Kansas City. The bottom line is this. Joe Mixon just signed a new contract. Your offensive line is not up to speed as far as protecting Joe Burrow, and he's getting hit often. You need to hand the football off. And look, I know the game goes a certain way. Cleveland scores and does that. But the bottom line is you are going to put your young franchise quarterback, who has continued to show you for 2 weeks now that he can give you an opportunity to win. Let's not forget, Cincinnati put up 30 points in this game, and A.J. Green did not have a good night playing wide receiver. So, look, hand the ball off to Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. Let them run the football. Get Joe comfortable with some play action. Make sure you're protecting your young quarterback. Don't Andrew Luck him. And don't Deshaun Watson them early in his career, especially coupled with losing. It could go downhill real fast.
Marcus Spears, you selfish tiger. Oh, let's protect Joe. Let's make sure Joe is safe. We love Joe. He's our favorite tiger ever. He won the Heisman. Nobody had done it since Billy Cannon. Wham, wham, wham. Here's the thing. Zach Taylor can protect Joe. He can protect Joe Burrow if he wants, and he'll be protecting him for the next head coach. Because what Zach Taylor has to do is balance protecting his young franchise quarterback and keeping his job, figuring out how to make sure Joe Burrow is okay and how to make sure my family is okay and we don't have to sell our house in Cincinnati because I am no longer the coach of this team. They didn't throw it 61 times. Last week against the Chargers, they threw it because they were behind. They threw it because they were trying to catch up. They threw it because Zach Taylor was trying to win the game. And you know what he has? He has a quarterback who's, yes, competitive, who's talented, who's poised, but Joe Burrow has one trait that may not sound good to you or to other people, but it sounds great to me. He has a beautiful ignorance. And that ignorance is he don't know the history of the Cincinnati Bengals. He don't know that they always terrible. He don't know that they always, you heard that boy say, he said, me, Zach Taylor.